Hello and welcome back to another episode of MTG Grits. Today I think I'm going to run through the process of powder coating a set of alloy wheels and kind of the process that we do. So what better car to start with? We have a Range Rover Sport, very nice I must admit. It's a regular customer of ours. Brings quite a lot of his cars to us that he's selling on, so this one's in for, he sold the car, the wheels need refurbing. They're a set of, let's have a look, I've already booked them off. Inch alloys. Let me take you off my stand. Here they are. They are massive. They're 275, 45, 21. We've got 4 of them to do. As you can see, they were diamond cut before. You can see it's picking off. Again, a lot of people change their diamond cut wheels to just a factory colour. We don't offer diamond cut. There is other places on the island that do offer that. As you can see, it's all corroded from the centres there. So basically we've got the car in, we've jacked it up. We have 2 of these bays, one here and one with Spen's car on at the moment. On it goes, it then wheels off, wheel nuts all of each one. These have got tyre pressure valves in, so each valve and each tyre will stay under each bay to go with each wheel, so they never get mixed up. Obviously a lot of people get funny about wheel sensors. We always want to make sure that wheel sensors are matched back to the wheels. It's all computerized, it's all very clever, so we don't want to disrupt any of that. So yeah, let's get on and let's get all 4 of these tyres taken off. Okay, so start the time lapse on that, just to run through it quite quickly, but there's nothing quite quick about these wheels at the moment. Just shows you what some of the struggles you might have when it comes to doing jobs like this. I've tried, as you can see, I'll put the time lapse in, or you should have just seen it. You can see that I'm trying to get the tyre off. The tyre machine's just pushing against the tyre. The tyres are so rock hard and solid. Again, nothing wrong with the tyres, it's just the way they are. So I'm going to take the rubber foot off and just try and push my way around. Just, there we go. So the rubber cush is just stopping it from bringing itself around. You can see that I've pushed the edge of the tyre off there. Another thing I can't seem to do is get the centre caps out of the valves. The valves themselves have got the sensors in. As I mentioned earlier, normally you can just release the sensor from the 12mm socket, which is just inside here. I'm struggling to do that at the moment, so I'm going to have to pop the tyre all the way off the bead, take the tyre off carefully, and then work out exactly what we're going to do with the sensor. You know, there's a high chance it's going to be a new sensor. There's a high chance it might just want a pair of grips on it. But you can see these massive tyres are by far causing us a bit of headache. This is only wheel 1. Keep pushing your way off. Keep pushing your way around. So, that's the wheel popped off onto the tyre machine. We'll push our way under. So we're just basically clamping the jaws of the tyre machine under each section, and then we'll close it up. That's it locked in place then. Wheel in line. Bring the arm down. We've got a side roller, which is the third arm we call it. That basically, I can lower that down then, rotate the wheel round. Basically pushes the tyre off the edge of the rim there. Let me just put you back where you were so you can see. Just watch me carry on. I'm gonna adjust the arm and pull the tyre off. One thing I've got to do though is the valve itself is here. And what I'm going to do here is keep the valve over this side, and I'll explain why in a sec. Bring the arm down, line the arm up on the ring. Now this has got a protective rubber foot on here, which stops it from damaging the wheels. Again, doesn't really matter at the moment, we know we're refurbing these, you can see that a bit chipped off. So we use the tyre third arm to bring it down. We're going to put the tyre under the lever, and as we bring it back up, we're going to push the edge of this tyre all the way around, causing a bit of force on here. Again, like I said, we're going to watch out for that sensor which is still here. The reason that sensor's there is you're just about to find out. You're going to rotate round, It's pulled that, see how it lifted? The sensor is here. It's pulled the tyre off and it hasn't caught on the sensor to try and rip it off. So we just carry on. That's the first section of the tyre off there. And I'm going to do exactly the same again. I'm going to position the valve here. Because we've got to leave it in place and can't get it off. What I like to do is release the 12mm, push it down so the sensor's now floating around inside. We'll try and do that with another one. So, lever in the back, pull the tyre all the way up, flick it over, rotate the tyre around. And now you should just see now come around the sensor. Tyre is completely off. Release the arm. Now the tyre goes back under the wheel, but we have got to tackle this sensor. Let's have a quick look. So, it's in place there, and you can see here, see here, if it focuses, how corroded it is. We're going to try and get a couple of sockets on there, see what we can do, see how we get on. This, I'm going to time lapse because then you can't hear me swear. Okay, so there you have it. You might have seen the time lapse. So what happens is it seizes onto it, and because it seizes onto it, see all the white stuff, that's the aluminium on the aluminium. So basically you have to remove this piece. You can see I haven't cracked the plastic there, I've just managed to bend the metal slightly. Bit of agitating, you slowly get it off. So all we're going to do now, get our grips, get our hammer and slightly tap that straight back again, and then it will fit straight back in where it needs to go. It just slots in between these two panels here just to hold it in place. But obviously as you try and do it, it's so easy to try and snap these, so it's quite a task to get it nice. The air blows through it, it senses how much air is in the tyre, puts a warning on the dash. So we'll just slide that back in there when it's done. Goes this way around, goes the pointed way in, like that. It's enough as it is, but I will straighten that back out. I'll do that right now. So there you have it, straighten back out. I'll literally just clip the sensor back in it. It's hard for me to show you so you can see it. It's clipped back in, so ready to refit to that wheel. So all we do now, just to finish this wheel off, take the tools off that we use, release the tyre from the release the wheel from the machine, tap the centre cap out, and then we'll just release off any of the stickiness, the sticky residue that's been placed on by the wheel weights. Now the reason we scrape it off is because the acid that removes the paint for some reason doesn't like taking the sticky or the foam off, so it tends to leave it on there to get a better finish. Again, just through time and experience of that, and you can see, so I haven't removed a single weight yet, but there's two areas that have got weights, stickiness on. There's 3 areas, and there's a strip of weights there that we're just going to cut off, stick them in our waste bin. I'm not going to bore you with all 4 of these. I'll whip the other 3 off and I'll let you know where we're at. Okay, so just to recap, that was hard work. 2 of the valves come out lovely, the other 2 were as I showed, which is good. It showed you on the first one, just to see quite how bad they were to try and get off. It's looking like this wheel here is probably the worst condition. You know, there's quite a bit down the edge we're going to have to do a bit of repairing on. Same as this one here. So that's how they are. We're going to get suited up and we're just going to chuck them in the acid bath. So here it is. This is our custom made stainless steel acid bath. This will take 4 22-inch alloys, so plenty of room in there. Just going to get these wheels loaded in. These are 21s, so they're going to fit fine. So that's the third one in now. Trying to squeeze them in down the gaps. Just got to be so careful of any splashing. We are going to have to top this acid bath up. Those wheels should be immersed within the fluid. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we've got a lot of it, so we're going to put in there whatever we've got left. So, as you can see, they haven't quite made it. We've got in there as much as we have. It doesn't matter. Just after 10 minutes, we'll flip them over, keep rotating them around so they're constantly within the fluid. We'll have to order some more tomorrow. So that's all 4 wheels that have been flipped over, still immersed in there. As you can see from this one, there's a few bits of powder still left on the face, but majority is off. You can see there where the diamond cut face used to be. All we're going to do now is let that drip off, get any residue off that might be on it, and then we're going to put it onto the wash bay. As you can see from this one, it isn't quite finished yet, it's going back in. So here we're just jet washing off using a Karcher K4, so the acid itself neutralises with the water, so just making sure that we get all of that off. It'll also blast off any last bits of powder that might be loose on there. So this is a 4th and final wheel. As you can see, it looks like the powder's hardly come off at all. So we're going to pull off what we can, give it a jet wash, and then we'll give it an assessment. Okay, so here we are. This is the wheel that I was showing you earlier with the deep gouges in. That's something we'll address. We'll get that looking mint again. Like I said, 3 of them, really good. 4th one, unfortunately, is going to have to go back in the acid. It's just one of those things, just isn't coming off. It must have an extra layer on it, or, well, there's no way they've been in the acid at the same time. 3 of them absolutely perfect. 1 of them not so good. Okay, let's start the prep on the face of these wheels then. I'm going to start with the worst one, which I've all shown you in part 1. This is the wheel that's going to be most, I say going to be most, this one's pretty bad too. We're going to show you our process, show how long it takes. I'm going to time lapse most of it because apart from you seeing me there sanding, grinding, filing, if I have to TIG weld, we have to TIG weld, but I'm pretty sure we can eliminate most of that with just the sanders. So let's get it to the bench. So from the time lapse, you'll see that that's the first stage. You can see how long that takes, even on a time lapse. We've basically just been grinding away at the sections just to level it off. You see, we haven't took the shape away from the wheel, but we've just taken out the deep gouges that were in, because this was pure aluminium where it had been diamond cut. We've just flattened that face back off. Yeah, you know, the only proper way to do this would be to do it on a lathe and spin it up, or a diamond cut machine and recut it all and face it. But we've done many a wheel like this, and we will continue to do wheels like this. We can't add filler into those holes because filler is not heat resistant and it will just bubble out. So we'll go back to our engineering days and we'll just keep doing as we're doing. So on to the second stage, get the files and the sanders out. I'll time lapse that and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so sorry if that time lapse took a little bit there. I wanted you to see quite the extent of what it takes to try and get these wheels, or any kind of aluminium, back to where it should be. Ali is very forgiving, so there's a lot you can do to it to bring it back to where it needs to be. So I'll just show you now. You still need sandblasting, but I'll show you how mint they are. You can see we've been getting in all the gaps, all the grooves, anywhere that would have been scuffed up. It's now flat. Anyone thinking that you should do that on a lathe, you should make it flat, you can see we're pretty good at what we do. All the edges are still sharp. Anywhere that would have had an edge that was still a sharp edge is still a sharp edge. Again, it takes a little while, but look at it. I'll now get the other ones done. I'll check on the one that's in the acid. I'm not going to record cleaning that one off. We'll get the one back to the same standard as this. Next clip then, they'll all be in the blasting shed. They'll have a slight douse over to key them up. Any areas that have still got sanding marks, we'll make that all uniform, ready for the powder. Let's get on. Okay, so we're not quite finished yet. The one wheel, it's rather hot in there. We're just cooking that powder off, see it's smoking away. Just drying the wheel out after we jet washed it. Trying to get what's left of that powder on. I don't know why that powder stuck so much on there, but it is. It will not defeat us. We will get it off. The other three wheels are all prepped now, so just flip this one out, prep it. I'll quickly run you around them just before we start blasting them. Okay, so there we have it. All four faced off. This is the one that was real bad. And if you look, what's left of it, it does look like it's had quite a lot of filler primer put on it, which is why it was a pain to get off. Look. See how thick that is? So that might explain it. That's going to get blasted off anyway. We'll leave what's left on there. Again, repaired all the faces on these ones. They are all mint. We're just going to blast them off now, give them the abrasion they need, and then time for the oven. There they are, all blasted. This is the wheel that had all the bits still on it. As you can see, they've all been taken off. Anywhere that we've smoothed or adjusted, all the way around, back to an aluminium wheel. Let's hang them all up, get them all in the oven. And unfortunately, because they're so big, they're going to take a little while to preheat. Let's get them outgassed, see how we get on. So that's them outgassed. Just so you know, outgassing basically means it tries to draw out any air that's inside it to stop them bubbling up in case you were to powder it. They also stop any contamination, so it'll burn off any oils or any grease that's on your fingers. Been in there, it's 180 degrees, well over an hour now at least, so let's get some powder on. Now's the time to guess the colour. What colour do you think they're going to be? So we are hot flocking these wheels, which is basically applying the powder to the fully hot wheel. A lot of people say that this is not doable. We've done this for a very long time, and you'll see from the end result that even hot flocking one of the hardest colours, a gloss black, we can still manage to pull it off. So here we're moving on to the most important bit, the face. Getting in all the grooves, all the gaps. You see I've got a light in my hand. You can just see there that I'm working the powder into each gap. Just checking that there's an even coat all the way around. Moving quite quickly because obviously with the edges of the faces and the edge of each spoke, it's very easy to build up a large amount of powder and it to create basically like a run. So pretty much first one complete, looking amazing, powder's flowing lovely, time to get the rest done. So that's it. Get this fourth one in to join the other three. These have to get to 180 degrees and then the cure time is for 10 minutes. So 10 minutes at 180 degrees. Time for a quick quality check over these, see how they look, see if the edges of the faces, make sure there's no pitting, check the back faces, just check they all look as good as they should be. So not only is it like -1 in here, we come to a bit of a problem. I said they look mint, which they did when they first come out. After further investigation, we're not happy with them. I'll show you why. I'll tell you what we're going to do to correct it. It does mean they're going back in the oven again to be repowdered for a second time. Can you see it, the pitting? Very hard to see. This one might be there. See it in the light? See on the end of that, in the corner of that spokes? That's where the diamond cut was. It just, you get further up where we sanded, lovely. In the centre, no good. That's probably a good picture there, that you can see how bad that is in the reflection. That's the problem with gloss black, it's such a colour that pronounces it. So we're going to get the DA out, we're going to sand down all those high spots, blend them all in nice, back in the oven to outgas again, redo the whole process again. What I'll do, I'll sand this one and then show you. So, let's take my mask off. There we go. All the pitted areas are now sanded back. Good thing is, when you sand it off, you can see that if there was any marks, you see where the high spots were. Not quite sure if you can see that in the time lapse, but as you see that I'm sanding off, a little bit there, let's see. It's a little bit higher there. We're talking minimal, same as what you do if you're wet flatting a panel off. You wet flat until it all goes smooth. That's basically potentially what we're doing, using the first layer of black to act as a filler. They look quite cool, two-tone. So I'm going to do the same now with the bad wheel. So that's what it was like before. And this is what it's like now. Sometimes to get a job that I'm happy to go out the door, we have to do it more than once, and here we are. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the other three and that one. I'll get it in the hanging up in the booth, and next minute you'll see they're here. So there they are. Well over an hour to sand them back, but it's what it takes to get a mint set weld. So we've just tap ragged them off. I've just blown them away. I'm about to put them back in the oven to outgas again, and then put the black on again. So here they are. Second time lucky. And we have got rid of all those marks. Just pays though to not let anything go out the door that isn't to our standard. All four of them. Get the angle on the camera. Absolutely mint. So we're going to get them up on the table. We're going to remove the black that's on the face that meets the hub. That can create a bit of a gasket see, so we'll just sand that back and then we'll start the refit. I'll do a quick time lapse of sanding the back just to see the process, and then we'll get them in position ready to fit the tyres. So we'll just give it a blow off. As you can see there, we're now back to a mated face. You can see from the time lapse we didn't take a lot off. You notice here we ran the centre bore around there. It's always tight when you try and put new set wheels back on anyway. So we always make sure there's a nice clean edge there that's going to sit nice onto and not catch on the hub. So I'm going to whip through the rest of the four and I'll position them on the tyres. I'll get back to you. So that's all four wheels back onto the tyres that came off each corner. Just putting the sensors back in. Each sensor from each corner goes with the right wheel. Okay, I'll video me placing the tyre on one of them, just so you can see. So we lay it on like it should be, close the jaws up. So we're going to lower the arm down now. If you notice that when we lock it in place, it just springs back, just enough to protect the alloy. There's no movement there. So all I'm going to do now, you can see this is a cleaner side of the tyre, and this is the dirty side. So my guess is this is the inner edge. So I'm just going to find here, make sure you can see that. It says inner. We know that goes on the inside. Again, never just presume, because someone might have put them on before. We've got tyre soap and quite a thick brush. Just going to run that around the edge just to help us get on and off. Tyre soap also helps when you're blowing the tyre up. So, bring the arm down. Going to rotate this. Sensors here, again protected by the tyre. We might not need the third on this, I might be able to do it by hand, so we'll use the third arm. So we'll place it on the edge, basically crushes it down and put it either side of the valve. run itself round, and that's it. Release it up, move it out of the way, and remove it off the machine. Very simple, just keep repeating. Do all four the same. So get the last few tyres on then, onto these rims. Quick time lapse there of that, pat the tyre machine away. And then we're going to blow up these tyres, pop them onto the rim without the valve cores in. Recommended, we're going to put about 36 in these. So that's all four wheels of those now balanced. I've had a little clean round on the inside of the lips just to stick the weights on so there's no, well, none of the sand and dust that we flicked off when we blew off earlier. I've got them all next to the car, so now I'm just going to start getting them onto the vehicle. Again, do a bit of time lapse of that from this side so you can see the driver's side of me sticking them back on. Centre caps don't look in the best condition, so I think I'm going to leave them off. If the customer decides to pop them in, then that's down to them. Obviously it's a lot harder to get a centre cap out once you've fitted it to a brand new wheel. It's best to take a centre cap off once the wheel's off the vehicle. So let's get on. So, there we have it. I've torqued all the wheels up to 120 newton meters. They're all on where they need to be. Locker room key needs to go back in the boot in its special holder. What do you think? Got to give them a clean. Give them a quick clean off now. We'll get it on the floor. We'll get it outside for a picture. Again, like I said, I've left the centre caps out, just purely the fact they're a little bit chipped and they're silver. Again, the customer might just tidy these up and put it back on. But you must agree they probably want a black centre cap. So what I shall do, I'll crack on and get some pictures outside. So guys, thank you, that's it. That's the end of our alley wheel refurbishment videos. Again, thank you. As you see, throughout the way we had the hiccups with the valves, we had the hiccups with the actual aluminium casting. Again, stuff out of our control. We worked around it, but I must say, these 21-inch Range Rover alloys on this black Sport look absolutely fantastic. Hit us a comment if you think they should have been silver originally. You know, keep the silver original or hit to black. I definitely prefer the black. So, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment. Hit subscribe. See you on the next one. Keep it real.